write a C++ program to design an employee class for reading and displaying the employee information, employee ID and employee name, with the getInfo and displayInfo methods respectively, where getInfo will be a private method. So we have to design an employee class. So in the program, first we are creating the class which is named as employee. The class can be created by using the keyword class, followed by the class name. The class name which we have used is the employee. The name of the class is employee. The entire class has to begin with curly braces and ends with the curly braces and end with a semicolon. And inside the class, first we are declaring two data members, one for employee ID, EMP ID, another one employee name. Both are data members of the class employee. Employee ID is of int type and employee name, EMP name, is an array of character. Now after that we are writing a member function which is named as getInfo. The return data type of getInfo is void. The getInfo method is used to accept the value of employee ID, EMP ID and EMP name from the user. So we use cin statement, an extraction operator, to accept the value of EMP ID and EMP name. Now these two data members and getInfo method are in the private section of the employee class, because by default the access specifier of a class is private. There are three access specifiers for a class, which is private, public and protected. By default the access specifier for the class in C++ is private. So employee ID, employee name, data members and the member function getInfo, all three are in the private section of the employee class. Now we change the access specifier into public. The constructor gets executed when an object of the class is created, and the constructor must be having the same name as the class name. So we have written default constructor. The constructor should not have any return data type. So employee, and within the constructor we have called a private function. We have called the private method which is getInfo. So inside the constructor we are calling the private method which is named as getInfo. And after that we have written displayInfo method whose return data type is void. And inside displayInfo method we have displayed the EMP ID and EMP name by using cout statement. So inside the class employee there are two data member, employee ID and EMP name, and two member functions, getInfo and displayInfo, whereas getInfo is a private method and displayInfo is a public method. We have also written a constructor, default constructor. The constructor is default because it does not take any parameters. And within the constructor we call the private method getInfo. Because getInfo is a private method, it can be accessed only inside the class. It cannot be accessed outside the class by using the object. By using the object of the respective employee class, we will be able to access only the public section of the class. In the main method, we create an object of the employee class. An object can be created as the class name followed by object name. So the class name is employee. We created the first object as E1. One more object has been created by using same method, class name followed by the object name. Here the object name is E2. So during the creation of an object like employee E1, it automatically calls the constructor belonging to the class employee. Similarly, during the creation of the second object E2, the constructor will get automatically called. And within the constructor, we indirectly call getInfo method that makes the user to enter the employee ID and employee name. Now the displayInfo method is a public method that can be accessed by using the object of the class. So we call displayInfo by using the object and the dot operator. So we call displayInfo function as e1.displayInfo and e2.displayInfo, where e1 and e2 are the object of the employee class and displayInfo is a public method of the employee class. Execute and see the program output.